Hi friends, it's Tanya here at High County Lake, and I am back at the Great Darke County Fairgrounds, and I am here with Representative Jena Powell from the 80th District.
Yes,
Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yes.
So thanks for taking the time to be out here. I wanted to get with you because we're back here at the roots of where it started for you in the sheep barn.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about when you were in 4-H, what that meant to you back then as a kid.
Absolutely. So I am the third child in my family. So I grew up, my older brother, my older sister were in 4-H. I remember I would sit at the 4-H meetings when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, so excited for the time that it was my turn to finally be in 4-H. And so I actually showed sheep here at the Great Darke County Fair all the years that I could. So I think starting at 9 years old all the way through high school. We were just down at the north side of the barn. It was so fun. We would bring our sheep here. It was probably a favorite week of the entire summer because people would come, all of our friends, my best friend was in the goat barn.
Oh, that made it
so
nice.
We would go back and forth between the goat barn, just having an amazing time showing our sheep, getting them ready, and just enjoying a lot of fellowship here at the fair.
Yes, and it's like new family too. It's like, you know, they come back every year and it's like a little reunion of family. So actually, I was a horse girl.
Okay.
So
we didn't make it down there very often.
I know. This used to be our barn though.
Really?
So
okay.
horses were
I didn't
here,
know
and that right there was our ring. Can you believe that around that tree out there?
That's cool.
Isn't that wild?
No idea.
I know I'm old, so you wouldn't have known that. So you did the sheep here the whole time in your career.
Yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
We moved down there in the late 80s, early 90s down to the other end. So that's kind of, so I started back here as well.
Fair enough.
So now, coming back as an adult, what does 4-H and the agricultural world mean to you here now?
Absolutely. So, you know, Darke County is all about agriculture. That's like one of our number one things in our county. What's really fun is coming back and not only seeing the 4-Hers and the youth invest in their sheep and grow. I think that's been the really cool thing this year is I love coming back and watching students show and seeing how much they grow year over year personally. Like, it's not just about showing the animals, but it's about their leadership skills. It's about taking care of their animals. It's about understanding, okay, how do I grow in this, not only in my showing, but also my leadership. But then also just seeing all the families, like, you know, there's so many new kids in it. There's so many families that come together. They stay in their campers. They enjoy that community and fellowship with one another. And that's really what our community is built on. There's a reason that most of the businesses around the area close down and come to the Great Darke County Fair because that's where the people are. So it's been very fun. I've definitely had my fair share of fair food as well. But it's just fun. You know, you walk the Midway, you walk all the roads. And it's not even just to see the businesses. It's also just to talk to your friends. It is. And that's a really cool thing.
It is. And so in that camaraderie, like you said, watching the youth, it's fun to take a child that you see get started and their confidence. I watched a young girl from the horse den who is very quiet, came out and did the Showman and Showman this year. Cool. And it was really fun to what you talk about the growth, to be able to see that. So I think it's really cool with us, especially being women, that little girls got to watch you grow up, probably here in the sheep barn as friends and so forth. And then now little girls get to watch you grow up and be a politician, and not only a politician, but somebody that fights for us right here in Ohio. So 30 under 30 for Forbes.
Yes, ma'am.
That was a big deal.
That is a big deal.
That's a real big deal.
Yeah, that's amazing. At the end of the day, it's truly like the people that have helped me get to this point. I think back to all my like 4-H advisors, my youth leaders. I used to go to Grace Church and the youth leaders there, as well as just so many parents and friends that came alongside me and helped me get to this point. Because without them growing in my confidence, like I wouldn't have been able to do that. And my mom just told me a story the other day. So I entered the speech competition in 4-H when I was about 10 years old. Most people think that I probably enjoy public speaking. But literally my mom recalled this is the same story the way I did too. So it's two people recalling the same way. Before it was my turn, I ran to the bathroom. I was about 10 years old. And I literally held onto the sink so tight that my knuckles were white. And I just cried and I screamed, I don't want to do this. There was probably 5 parents in the, you know, in the small extension office.
Trying to encourage you.
Yeah, and trying to encourage you. And my mom just looked at me and was like, no, Jenna, you can do this. And I got out there. I'm sure that my eyes were red and I was sniffling. But they just helped me along the way. And that was just like a big growing point in my life of going, you know what? You can do hard things.
Absolutely.
And you might not do it well at first, but you can keep growing in that. So I don't know. That was just a fun story of people believing in me and saying, Jenna, I'm going to push you farther than you think that you can go.
Even for people to hear that, though, because there's lots of people that want to do something, but fear holds them back.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you might stumble a little bit, but keep stumbling until you stand up, walk, and run, and then get to where you want to get to. So in your, I'll say, career so far, what has been you feel like your biggest accomplishment or something that, I follow you, so I know what your passions are, but tell us what you feel is like a big accomplishment that you've had, or just a passion that you really feel like you being there has done for us in Ohio. Yeah,
so being in the legislature is a really exciting thing. I think one of the big things is hearing the people of our district and then going and fighting for them in Columbus. So some of the main things that I've worked on, I've been there now for 6 years. We've worked on a lot of business regulations. So that's been a big thing that I've worked on. Most people don't hear about that as often just because it's not as exciting to talk about, right? Like, who wants to talk about regulatory reform? I've actually done a lot of pieces of legislation on that. More of the exciting ones that more people like to know about. I've done a lot of pro-life policy. We've worked on that in the state of Ohio because, as I tell children all the time, we believe that life begins at conception, and we want to protect every unborn child in our state. And then one of the big ones I've worked on is the Save Women's Sports Act. So this bill says that no boys are allowed to play in female-only sports. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. But that's just really been a big one that we worked on. We ended up having to override a veto that the governor did, so it was very dramatic fashion that we finished it. We overrode his veto, it went through the courts, and now it's law here in the state of Ohio. So, at the end of the day, I tell people this all the time, especially with kids going back to school, your little girl should not share a locker room, should not share a bathroom, and should not have to compete with boys in the state of Ohio. It is unfair and it's unsafe for them. So those are just a few of the many bills that I've worked on that I'm really excited about and I'm really passionate about. So.
Very good. So speaking of motherhood and advice that your mom gave you, we've got a little one on the way here too. So we're super excited for you.
Thank you.
I just became a grandma myself 3 weeks ago. So it's such a sweet
I love it.
and precious time. Now, will you guys come back and will your little ones, you think, if they like it, or they come into the sheep barn?
We already have.
The horse barn is really a nice place to hang out.
It's true. We already have our name in for a camper.
Okay,
I put it in probably 4 years ago. So as a true Darke County.
That's right.
And I literally asked my mom, I'm like, so can my little boy show sheep next year? And I'm like, he's probably a little too young, but I'm thinking maybe some sheep, some pigs, at least like Pee-wee.
Experience it.
Yeah, see what he likes to do. I'm sure my husband's into sports a lot, so I'm sure he already has soccer and baseball in mind. I said, that's fine, but he at least has to show a pig or a sheep, and then I'll be a happy mom.
Right. We got to stick to our roots.
Exactly.
Okay, so outside of that, what's next for you?
So a baby, which I'm really, really excited about. And then I'm going to finish out this term. So I have through this coming year. So I'm excited about working on quite a few pieces of legislation in the coming year, representing our community in the best possible way. At the end of the year, it's something in the legislature called lame duck. So it's where a lot of bills happen all at once because it's the end of a 2-year General Assembly. So a lot of big push. So we're focused right now on trying to get everything ready, get the bills ready, work with other lawmakers to figure out how we can best represent our community during lame duck.
Okay, that's super awesome. So thanks for taking the time to visit with us and keep sticking with us as we keep visiting people, places, and things. And just to let you know, we're all super proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
With us. We'll see you next time.